Look out, it's Nintendo.
私は競争力のあるゲーム、改造とエミュレーションをシャットダウンするためにここにいます。今スーパーマリオ 3D オールスターロムを購入し、あなたは女を体現とファック。
Nintendo, we need to talk about this whole being terrible thing. But first, a little background on me. I've been playing Nintendo games for as long as I can remember. The first game I ever played was Duck Hunt, and the first game I ever beat on my own was Ocarina of Time. There are literally too many examples to list here, but you get my point. I'm a huge fan, as are millions of people, and recently, you've spit in all of their faces. Melee is a nearly 20-year-old game with a ridiculously dedicated player base, and the Big House is one of the biggest Melee tournaments in North America. With a certain world event going on that will instantly get my video taken off the YouTube algorithm, making meeting people face-to-face difficult to woefully dangerous, online tournaments are the only way for these professional esports athletes to compete. And they can't just not play, as they have contracts and partnerships with various companies and products that require their competing in Melee to continue getting paid. Even degenerates need to pay their bills. Dolphin Emulator has a mod to it called Slippy, which enables rollback netcode to play GameCube games online, and while I'm not sure if Slippy is the same way, a similar Dolphin mod called Faster Melee gives players such amazing connections over vast distances there is less input lag than on a GameCube. While you have every right to battle piracy, I don't think you understand emulation in the slightest, as you have lost every single lawsuit you have filed in regards to emulators. The US Supreme Court has consistently defended emulation programs like Project 64 and Dolphin, stating reverse engineering coding to emulate software meant for specific hardware is not an infringement of copyright. Furthermore, they have also defended uploading games on personal computers for archival reasons. Just because they are using ROMs of your games to play a Wi-Fi tournament does not mean the games were pirated. But even disregarding what the Supreme Court has said in regards to emulation, you don't seem to understand the underlying reasons for piracy in the first place. There's a thing in business called supply and demand. Right now, there is a demand for these older games you won't release, and you are refusing to meet that demand. If you do not meet the demand for these games, people are willing to resort to piracy to play them. Think about the early to mid-2000s and the anime boom of that era. The reason so many torrents and fan subs were uploaded was because there was a demand for anime in the West, but aside from 4Kids and the odd Funimation dub, anime was largely ignored by companies. So fansubbers decided to rip episodes from Japanese broadcasts and translated them themselves. If you do not meet demand, people will always pirate. Just look at Game of Thrones in the Philippines. Until HBO released the episodes on their Filipino servers, Game of Thrones was the single most pirated show on the planet. And it's not like you're losing money out of Melee being pirated anyway, since you no longer sell the freaking game. In many cases, in order to play these older games, fans have had to purchase the native hardware from a third-party seller, along with the games, sometimes for frankly obscene prices. And even if people manage to find a good deal on a GameCube and a handful of games, many modern televisions don't have the inputs to play these older consoles. Meaning you have to either pay someone to mod the thing to work on a modern television for an obscene premium, or you have to purchase an adapter for it, which doesn't always end well for a consumer's console, by the way. In fact, either way, your chances of breaking your console upon using either of these adapters are fairly high. Which means in most cases, the most effective and, frankly, best option is to just emulate the games on a computer. But it's not like Melee was the only game you shut down at the Big House, because they were also going to have a Smash Ultimate tournament that you shut down too. Now, I don't know what it is with you in online, but your online servers are a joke. There have been matches that resulted in disconnects a mere 5 seconds into the match. The online matchmaking in Ultimate is so horrendous that most people preferred to play in person, meaning that people with friends in other parts of the country, or even the world for that matter, were basically unable to play together. And it was forgivable during the Wii U's life cycle, since you didn't charge us to use it. But that's different now, and you haven't done anything to improve your damn servers. But while you hate emulation coming from the consumer, you don't seem to be against emulation if you're the ones doing it. Super Mario 3D All-Stars was marketed as a port of 3 classic 3D Mario games to the Switch, but data miners found that they're just ROMs with your own in-house emulation software enabling them to function on a Switch. You sold us this collection for $60, the same price as a brand new release. Meanwhile, Sony brought Activision on to remake both Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, each from the ground up, and sold each collection for just $40 at launch. Crash's remake even revived a cancelled level from the original game. Capcom completely remade Resident Evil 2 and 3, reinventing each game to be in line with modern Resident Evil games, while also having a ridiculous amount of fan service in each. Alternate costumes, bonus modes, harder difficulties. These games brought two of gaming's most classic games into the modern era, but you couldn't be bothered to do any of that, now could you? And while you're busy adding Sephiroth and 30 more Fire Emblem characters to Smash Ultimate, you seem to have a grudge against esports, since you've been trying to shut down competitive gaming for more than a decade at this point. But the real scum of the earth move you made was when you shut down your livestream coverage of a Splatoon tournament, one you yourselves were hosting. And in showing support for Melee by using team names such as Meleetation and Safe Melee on the part of the teams, you saw a chance to piss off your community again by choosing the worst possible decision. Not only canceling your coverage of a tournament you yourselves organized, but also rescinding other people's rights to livestream the event, effectively canceling a tournament that didn't even have a prize pool to begin with. That meant that the community, once again, had to pick up the slack, and even put a $5,000 prize pool through, almost entirely through community donations. And all of this doesn't even begin to mention Pokemon, which as a franchise has stagnated to the point of tedium and boredom. I literally haven't picked up my copy of Sword for months since there's nothing I can do in it. Without the online service, I can't play against my friends, and there's nothing to do in it except EV Train my competitive team. A team that is collecting dust since I can't play against other people. And when two people in their garage decided they wanted to see an actual good Pokemon game, using the RPG Maker engine, they made one of, if not the best games the franchise has ever and ever will see. What did you do to this project? You shut it down, while simultaneously putting zero effort in any of the officially licensed games onto 3DS and Switch. And God forbid people mod your game. Other companies, most famously, or infamously depending on who you ask, Bethesda, have embraced mods, which add new life to older games in a myriad of ways. In this day and age, you're the only ones that seem to hate mods. I wish I could say I'm excited for Sephiroth in Smash, since its inclusion is a huge deal, but god fucking damn it, you guys just won't stop making the worst possible choices in goddamn anything you do. You don't announce directs with more than a couple days worth of notice anymore, you butchered Age of Calamity's story, you have a blood feud with esports apparently, and content creators are terrified of using any of your content in their videos, since you've been known to copyright strike anyone. You even scared Angry Joe from reviewing Mario Odyssey after you removed his review of Breath of the Wild, a game he sang his fucking praises for. It's amazing that this community is still willing to support you, because other companies have had to walk on eggshells with their communities for far less than what you've done. And when Activision has better business etiquette than you know you've really fucked up. To summarize, fuck you, fuck your executives, fuck your business practice. I will not be giving you any of my money until such time comes that I hear the words, "I'm sorry," come out of Shuntaro Furukawa's cunt-ass mouth.